Something crosses the clearing, and it isn't an animal. It moves upright. Broad shoulders, long stride. Then it disappears behind the trees as if it was never there. In another clip, a trail camera captures a figure standing motionless in the dark, not passing through, not startled, just watching. These aren't legends retold years later. They're recordings. Tonight, we're breaking down 10 of the most unexplained Bigfoot footage ever recovered from deep forests. Moments that continue to divide investigators and refuse to fade away. Because sometimes, what's in the woods isn't trying very hard to stay hidden. The footage begins with a person exploring a wooded area during daylight, carefully scanning the surrounding trees after noticing unusual movement in the distance.
It's not happening anymore. I thought it was a wood knock or some more of that nut breaking sound I heard. I recorded back here like a week and a half ago or so. Not hearing it now. It's back in this way somewhere. There's the shelter. I just came all through there, checked the stones. Stones are all still there.
At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary, but a large, dark figure can be seen standing partially concealed among the trees before disappearing behind the brush.
Where's that? Holy shit. Where's the... Oh, come on. It's right there. I don't have my glasses on. Look at that.
The camera quickly focuses on the area where the movement was spotted. As the person filming moves closer, the figure briefly reappears between the trees before slipping out of sight again.
I'm not seeing it now. I think that's it. Oh, cameras everywhere. Oh, look at that. What the am I looking at? I'm looking down there. I don't see it at all with my eye, but I can kind of see it on the screen. It's gone now. Holy, there it is.
Although the footage is shaky, its size and upright posture have led some viewers to believe it could be something unusual, rather than a known animal.
Look, my God. I'm guessing it's probably... Probably like, I don't know, 150 feet away. Shit. I'm right out in the open. I gotta go to the tree. Holy crap.
The filmer continues searching the tree line, occasionally catching brief glimpses of the dark figure as it moves deeper into the forest. The encounter remains distant, making it difficult to identify exactly what was captured.
I'm behind a tree. I can't go behind trees. I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Holy crap. Shit. Look at that. I can see it. It looks really dark in the... When I'm looking at it, it looks quite red on the camera.
But the repeated appearances have fueled ongoing debate among viewers. Since the video was uploaded, opinions have remained divided. Some believe the footage shows a person or a misidentified animal, while others argue the figure's appearance and behavior are consistent with reported Bigfoot sightings.
It's there. It's still there. It looks like a tree. It looks just like a tree. Look at that. Oh, where is it? There it is.
Without clearer evidence, the encounter remains another mystery that continues to spark discussion within the cryptid community. Sometimes the scariest thing isn't what's out in the woods. It's realizing something out there might be watching you. This clip, shared on r/truecryptozoology, captures a night when a quiet cabin retreat took an unsettling turn. It begins with a shaky phone camera pointed into the darkness. Almost immediately, movement can be heard in the brush near the porch. Branches snap one after another, suggesting something sizable moving just beyond the tree line. The person filming hesitates for a moment, keeping the camera fixed on the darkness as if waiting for whatever made the noise to reveal itself. The camera slowly pans to the right before settling on a tall, motionless figure standing between the trees. Even in the dim light spilling from the cabin, its broad shoulders and wide frame are hard to ignore. For several tense moments, it doesn't appear to move. It simply stands there, facing in the direction of the cabin, almost blending into the surrounding trees, until the longer you look, the more noticeable its outline becomes. Then, just before the recording ends, the figure shifts, taking one slow, deliberate step. For a brief instant, its eyes seem to catch the light before it quietly disappears back into the darkness, leaving nothing but an empty tree line behind. The entire encounter lasts only a few seconds, but the sudden movement is enough to completely change the atmosphere of the scene.
Are you joking right now?
For the person behind the camera, what started as a peaceful night in the woods quickly became something far more unsettling. Since the footage surfaced online, viewers have continued debating what was standing just beyond the cabin. Some believe it was nothing more than a trick of the light, while others are convinced the figure was watching the cabin from the edge of the forest. So what do you think was standing just beyond the tree line that night? A lone camera operator was filming a dense tree line when a large, dark figure suddenly emerged from the brush. Uploaded to YouTube by the channel Ausways in late 2008, the footage quickly spread online and has continued to spark debate among viewers, with many believing it may capture a rare cryptid sighting in Latvia. The video begins with a shaky camera sweeping across a moss-covered hillside before a dark figure suddenly walks into view. The unexpected appearance catches the camera operator off guard, and the footage briefly struggles to stay steady as they try to follow what they're seeing. Even from a distance, the figure's broad frame stands out against the surrounding forest, making it difficult to mistake for the trees or shadows around it. Then, the figure accelerates. It breaks into a fast, long-strided run, moving across uneven ground, fallen logs, and dense brush without any obvious hesitation. Despite the rugged terrain, it appears to maintain a steady pace as the camera struggles to keep it in frame. The sequence lasts only a few moments, but it's the speed and fluidity of the movement that have drawn the most attention from viewers. In the final moments, the scene shifts to a two-lane highway, where what appears to be the same figure sprints across the road in broad daylight, just moments before a commercial truck passes through the exact same location. The brief crossing offers one last glimpse before the figure disappears from view. For the person behind the camera, the encounter was unlike anything they expected to witness. Since the footage first surfaced, the figure's unusual size, rapid movement, and the apparent transition from forest to roadside have continued to divide viewers. Some believe the clip documents an elaborate hoax, while others argue it captures something far more difficult to explain. So what do you think was roaming through the forests of Latvia? A motion-activated trail camera unexpectedly activated in a remote roadless valley in Alberta, Canada, capturing footage that quickly sparked debate across the r/cryptozoology community on Reddit. Hidden deep within an isolated wilderness with little to no human activity, the brief recording has become one of the internet's more intriguing Bigfoot clips. The footage opens on a wide, silent valley surrounded by dense forest. For a brief moment, nothing appears unusual. Then a dark figure steps out from the tree line and begins crossing the uneven ground. At first, it seems small against the vast landscape, but as it continues moving across the open valley, its size becomes much more noticeable. The camera, nicknamed Mistcam by its owner, follows the figure as it walks upright across the rugged terrain. Its stride appears smooth and steady as it moves through thick brush and uneven ground, a detail that has drawn considerable attention from viewers studying the footage frame by frame. In the final moments of the recording, the tall silhouette continues toward a rocky ridge, its long arms swinging naturally as it steps over dense vegetation before disappearing completely behind the terrain. The encounter lasts only a few seconds, but the brief glimpse has fueled years of discussion among those who believe the footage deserves a closer look. Part of what continues to intrigue viewers is the location itself. According to those familiar with the area, the camera was positioned in an isolated valley with no nearby roads or regular human traffic, making ordinary explanations more difficult to evaluate. Even so, opinions remain divided. Some believe the footage captures an unidentified creature moving through the Canadian wilderness, while others argue there's a simpler explanation. So what do you think was crossing that remote Alberta valley? What began as an ordinary lunch break during a commercial rafting trip quickly turned into an unforgettable sighting when an entire crew noticed a massive figure moving across the opposite side of the river. Shared by the Daily Mail World channel, this viral clip documents a remarkable encounter along the upper Colorado River. The video opens with a phone camera slowly scanning a steep, rugged mountainside. Moments later, a tall figure comes into view, walking upright through the evergreens and standing out against the rocky ridge behind it. Even from a considerable distance, its shape immediately catches the attention of everyone watching. The vast landscape only emphasizes the scale of the sighting, making the figure appear strikingly out of place. As the camera continues to follow it, the figure walks steadily on two legs, climbing a steep rocky incline with a smooth, deliberate stride. Despite the uneven terrain, it appears to move without hesitation, a detail that has become one of the most discussed aspects of the footage. Near the end of the recording, the figure briefly pauses among the high brush before taking a few more steps toward the tree line and disappearing from view. Within seconds, the ridge is empty again, leaving the rafting crew staring across the river at the spot where it had just been standing. According to lead guide Logan Kirk, approximately 12 people witnessed the figure from a distance of about 500 yards during their stop along the river. Since the footage was shared online, viewers have continued debating what was captured, with some convinced it shows an unidentified creature, and others suggesting there may be a more ordinary explanation hidden by the distance and terrain. So what do you think the rafting crew saw moving across that mountainside? A passenger's handheld video camera locked onto a massive shadow darting across a remote pathway, documenting a heart-stopping face-to-face encounter. The raw, unedited footage surfaced within the r/Bigfoot community on Reddit, detailing a terrifying incident captured deep in rural Russia back in 2015. It opens mid-panic, several voices shouting over each other as the camera jerks back and forth, clearly struggling to keep up with whatever's happening just ahead. Nobody in the car sounds prepared for it, and the confusion in their voices is almost as unsettling as whatever they're actually looking at.
Он, короче, опять на нас натёр, наверное. Засни, если что, на YouTube выложим. Смотри, Блин, надо хватиться сюда.
Then it appears, a dark, thickly built figure breaking out of the roadside brush and sprinting across the dirt road on two legs, moving with a stride that looks distinctly bipedal the whole way across.
О, жал! Я заснял его!
Пугать пошли!
Я заснял! Ё-моё!
The panic doesn't let up much after that. The camera keeps shaking, the voices keep talking over each other, and it takes a while before anyone in the vehicle sounds like they've settled down enough to process what just happened.
Он ветки не шевелит, по-моему.
Я ничего не... О, вон, передвигается. Чучело.
Смотри, ветки шатают.
For the witnesses inside the vehicle, the sheer speed and animalistic power of the figure ruled out a casual prankster or a local in a winter suit. The rapid, heavy locomotion has left international cryptid researchers debating the clip for over a decade. What's your explanation for the towering figure that darted right past this vehicle? A family backyard became the stage for a heart-stopping mystery when a bizarre figure appeared right at the edge of the woods. This intense viral short, shared by the WV Paranormal channel, captures the exact second that an afternoon playing outside turned into pure terror. The video opens on a shot of a dirt driveway bordering a thick tree line, with a red arrow pointing toward a rust-colored shape tucked into the green foliage. The camera holds there for a few seconds, letting the shape sit against the ordinary backdrop of gravel and grass, making the whole thing feel more unsettling by contrast. A loud, mechanical buzzing noise cuts through the air, could be a trimmer or something similar running nearby, and the camera swings over to show a young girl in a bright, colorful skirt sprinting away from the woods and toward the house. In the final seconds of the brief recording, the camera zooms in intensely on the dense brush, revealing what looks like a large, furry creature with prominent dark eyes peeking out from behind a tree trunk. Whoever filmed this was clearly shaken by how close it was to the house. Some viewers think it's just shadows and foliage playing tricks on the eye. Others are convinced it's something young, watching the property from just a few feet away. What do you think was hiding in those bushes while that little girl was out playing? A handheld phone camera suddenly captured what appears to be a towering figure stepping out from behind a massive cedar tree, instantly turning an ordinary walk through the forest into one of the internet's most debated Bigfoot clips. Uploaded by the Bam Jams channel in June 2021, the brief 4K footage quickly spread online, with many viewers believing it may show an authentic Sasquatch encounter. There's no slow reveal. The video opens deep within a misty Pacific Northwest forest, where a tall, broad-shouldered figure stands motionless among the moss, ferns, and dense undergrowth. Even from a distance, its size immediately stands out, prompting viewers to debate just how large it really appears to be. Moments later, the figure begins to move. It walks calmly past a patch of ferns with a long, steady stride that appears unusually smooth across the uneven forest floor. Its dark, shaggy coat shifts naturally with each step. As faint light filters through the trees above, briefly revealing more of its overall shape before it continues deeper into the woods. In the final moments, the figure continues across the forest floor before slipping out of the camera's narrow frame. The person filming quickly tries to follow, but the movement is over almost as soon as it begins, leaving only a few seconds of footage for viewers to examine. Despite its brevity, the clip continues to fuel debate, with some calling it one of the most convincing modern Bigfoot videos, while others believe there's a more ordinary explanation hidden in plain sight. A smartphone camera sweeping across a snowy riverbank appears to capture a large, dark figure standing near the edge of a dense pine forest. Uploaded by the Squatch Watchers channel in August 2023, the brief clip quickly spread online after viewers began debating whether it showed a massive Sasquatch realizing it had been spotted. There's no slow build-up. Almost immediately, a reddish-brown figure can be seen standing near the water's edge, partially framed by fallen timber and the dark pines beyond. Against the bright snow, its broad outline is difficult to miss. For a brief moment, it remains completely still, giving viewers just enough time to study its shape before everything changes. Then, the figure suddenly shifts its stance. Turning away from the river, it moves quickly toward the tree line, weaving through the snow-covered brush and fallen logs with what appears to be a smooth, steady stride. The movement lasts only a few seconds, but it has become one of the most discussed aspects of the footage. By the final moments of the recording, the figure disappears into the deep shadows of the forest as the camera struggles to keep it in view from across the river. The clip ends almost as suddenly as it began, leaving viewers with only a fleeting glimpse and plenty of unanswered questions. Since its release, the footage has continued to divide opinion, with some convinced it captures something extraordinary and others believing there's a more ordinary explanation. So what do you think moved so quickly through those snow-covered woods? On Oregon Public Broadcasting, the search for Bigfoot is examined through a very different lens. Indigenous voices from the Pacific Northwest offer a deeper perspective. To them, Bigfoot is not something to be found or rather than a myth to chase. Bigfoot is a living idea, respected, remembered, and quietly acknowledged across generations. Memories of Pearson Creek lingered vividly, echoes of that distant call piercing the stillness. Hidden fears, forgotten memories, pieces of themselves they never expected to confront. Every snapped twig, every shadow shifting in the undergrowth seems to watch them back. Generations have coexisted with him, feeling his presence without needing proof. Some may doubt his existence, but those who know the forests understand. He has walked these lands for centuries, unseen yet never absent. A living secret of the wilderness. In the world beyond the mainstream, the question isn't whether Sasquatch exists. These encounters are vivid, profound, and undeniable. Reminders that the unseen still moves among them. Every rustle in the trees, every shadow in the twilight whispers the truth. They are part of a larger mystery that refuses to be solved. If Bigfoot has quietly walked these forests for generations, witnessed only in fleeting shadows, whispered in stories, and felt more than seen. This first story is a great example of how something small can slowly turn into something people can't stop talking about. Realize TV is all about strange cryptid sightings from around the world. The footage comes from a trail camera set up deep in the woods for simple wildlife monitoring, so nothing about it is staged. When the clip begins, it honestly feels like any normal nature recording. A few elk are calmly moving through the area, completely relaxed in their surroundings. If you were watching this without context, you would probably assume it was just another peaceful forest moment. As the clip continues though, your attention naturally starts to wander beyond the elk and a little deeper into the background. Nothing about it feels loud or sudden, and the animals don't react in a way that clearly tells you something's wrong. It's just this quiet presence that slowly starts to stand out, and the longer you watch, the harder it becomes to ignore. I won't spell it out too early because this is one of those clips where it's better if you notice it for yourself. Just keep your eyes moving across the entire frame instead of staying locked on the elk in front. The moment is easy to miss if you aren't paying attention. What makes this footage so interesting isn't chaos or action. It's the way something in the background seems carefully positioned, almost like it's aware of where it stands. At one point, there's this tiny little movement, and honestly, it almost feels on purpose. It's small, but that's the part that gets everyone talking. The elk remain calm, the forest stays quiet, and the camera continues recording without interruption, which somehow makes the background feel even more noticeable. People have shared all kinds of thoughts about what they think they're seeing, and that's honestly what makes trail camera footage so interesting. It catches real, unscripted moments and just leaves the rest up to us to figure out. So as you watch this one, take your time with it. Let the clip unfold naturally, and then tell me what stands out to you. Footage, courtesy Animal Planet. In the bright daylight filtering through the windows, Cliff stepped forward with a calm confidence, his voice carrying just enough urgency to make the room lean in. He thanked everyone for being there, making it clear that this wasn't just another town hall. This was a gathering of the few whose knowledge truly mattered. He offered a special thanks to Mayor Tim Brett for inviting them back for a second time, noting that this meeting had been intentionally kept small and closed to the public.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very, very much for coming out. I want to thank you as participants in the town hall. I also want to extend a very, very special thank you to Mayor Tim Burchett because he's invited us back here for a second time.
This is a much smaller meeting. We didn't open it up to the public because we wanted the people who really knew about information that we'd be able to act upon.
Only those with real, actionable information had been invited, and as Matt scanned the room, he knew they had the right people. One man suddenly rose from his seat, the room falling quiet as he introduced himself. "My name's David." A moment later, another stood beside him, Matthew. Their story dated back to last April, on a night lit only by a full moon. The sun had long dipped below the horizon, leaving the woods wrapped in silver light. Without warning, a rock came hurtling out of the darkness and smashed against the side of their car. They turned just in time to catch a glimpse of a massive figure vanishing into the trees behind them. Neither man could explain what they had seen, only that it was enormous, powerful enough to launch rocks, and able to move with unbelievable speed.
And it looks like we've got some here.
My name's David,
My name's Matt.
and this happened back last April. The sun had already set, but there was a full moon out. A rock come flying out of the woods and hit the car. And we turned around just in time to see it disappear into the woods behind us. I can't explain what it was. I don't know what it was. It was big, it could throw rocks, and it could move like nobody's business.
Another witness stepped forward, explaining that she and her husband had been on their way home, easing their car over the hill that night. Then, without any warning, a massive figure strode out onto the road, fully exposed in the sweep of their headlights. It was enormous, far larger than anything they could have imagined appearing in their path. And then the sound came, a deep, gut-wrenching roar that seemed to vibrate through the air and settle in their bones. Her voice wavered as she stepped forward, eyes still haunted by the memory. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "It scared me immensely."
My husband, we were coming home and we were going across the hill. This thing stepped out in plain view on the road. This thing was so big and the noise it made was gut-wrenching. I'm sorry, it scared me tremendous. I still have nightmares.
The encounter had left a mark so deep that even now she was still haunted by nightmares, reliving the terror of that night over and over. Another witness, a man named Matt, leaned forward with a serious expression as he began sharing what he knew about the area. He explained that the national government owns a vast stretch of land there, territory that is completely off limits to the public. Back in World War II, he said, the atomic bomb was built on this very property.
Hey guys, my name's Matt Sieber. The national government has a very large piece of property in this area that is off limits to people. Back in World War II, the atomic bomb was built here. Don't cross the fence. Don't go through the gate. You'll be in a lot of trouble. That area, I've had security officers have actually seen things. I've had people contact me where they've seen road sightings.
Don't cross the fence, don't go through the gate, you'll end up in serious trouble. Matt went on to describe how even security officers had reported strange occurrences and how several people had contacted him after witnessing unusual roadside sightings. He had even discovered actual tracks himself, evidence that something was moving through the restricted area, something that definitely wasn't supposed to be there.
The government could tell you if they were willing to. I can get you guys as close to this facility as legally possible.
Mayor Tim vetted some great witnesses for us for our town hall meeting, and they each marked their sighting location on a map. But before we go to those witnesses, we have to check out this property across from this top secret base that Matt Sieber's been talking about. This is an enormous sprawl of government land that's completely off limits to unclassified personnel.
What do you think? Could all these witnesses be seeing the same thing? Or is something else lurking in these restricted woods? Comment below and let us know if you believe these encounters are real.